Yes, I did.
Why? Was there any specific reasons that you did?
I feel like there's an obligation for me to vote as a responsible American and for someone that wants to see America grow.
So what do you think about Christians? Should they feel an obligation to vote based on their religion?
Yes, because they have a responsibility to be good stewards of America and just to be responsible for everything that happens here.
So how do you feel about uninformed people voting? Should they vote just because, or do you think they should have knowledge of the candidates?
I believe they need to have some knowledge of the candidates, but I feel like also that if you are able to fill out a ballot that you would have some sort of knowledge of each candidate. But if you don't know, I still feel like you should vote.
Did you vote this year?
Yeah, I did.
Why did you vote?
I feel like it's your civil obligation to vote. I think it's important.
So you think, as Christians, should people vote based on an obligation of their religion?
Yeah, I believe that God placed the government and authority over us, but we have to do our part to make sure that the government doesn't get out of control. So I think it's important to vote.
What about uninformed people? Do you think that they should vote, or should people have a knowledge of the candidates before they go?
I think you should have a knowledge of the candidates before. I don't think you can go into any situation and say one thing's right over another if you don't know anything about it. So, yeah, you should probably be informed before you vote.
Did you vote this year?
Yes, I did.
Why did you do that?
Actually debated going back and forth whether or not I would. Decided to vote this year. Felt like I should. Maybe perhaps thinking as a role model as a professor, probably should vote.
Do you think that Christians should feel obligated to vote and be involved in politics?
I think some level of involvement is probably an obligation, in as much as politics are a reflection of the community, and Christians should be involved in their community. There should be some involvement on that level. As far as voting, I don't think there's an obligation to vote. If you were serving in Parliament or on the floor in Congress or something like that, you have a choice not to vote. I mean, a no vote is a sort of vote that you can do. You can choose to abstain. And that's a way of saying I don't like any of the options put in front of me. And I think as Christians, there's a lot of times when we don't like any of the options put in front of us. And sometimes abstaining from voting can send just as much of a message as just feeling your arms twisted into voting would.
Do you think that uninformed people should vote, or should they have a comprehensive knowledge of the candidates before they go to the polls?
I think we're fooling ourselves if we think only informed people would be voting, because I guarantee you in the ballot that everybody's looking at the ballot I looked at in Iowa. I didn't know everybody on that ballot. Yeah, I might be more informed than most on the presidential side of things, or who's going for Congress or Senate, or some of the Iowa Supreme Court justices or something like that. But I don't know everybody. That certainly when it gets down to the municipal level, where there may be people around here that personally know everybody that was running for the different municipal offices and don't know their congressman. Nobody's universally informed on everything, or maybe there's a small handful that is. And I don't think we really want to turn into a society that's ruled by a group of elites that are the only people that have the option to vote. So I think it's just a reality we're stuck with, that to some greater or lesser degree the public is going to be uninformed.